how they actually do against a team that could cause them trouble as well. So
Yeah.
I think very, very high level football that was today.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely a tactical game for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know Pep. He overthinks everything. I don't understand why what's his name didn't play today. Fernandinho again, but I was actually surprised to see Sterling start
Yeah.
today too over Torres. So that was a little strange, but I figured he had to give Sterling some game time since Sterling has barely had any this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this was definitely a different PSG. This was a more mature PSG than we've seen in the last couple of seasons. Even last year when they met, it was a lot of very selfish play. But I think this is the first time I'm seeing PSG actually play like a team.
Yeah.
Like Mbappe's in trying to run through the entire squad. Neymar was a little quiet today. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if he's been injured, but yeah, he was a little quiet today for some reason. I think Mbappe was more threatening up front.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was-
Verratti had a good game as well too. So
Yeah.
that was definitely solid, man. It was definitely. Sometimes I think like the Champions League is rigged. It's like every time. Remember when it was like the Messi versus Barcelona? I mean, Messi
Yeah.
versus Ronaldo. Once Ronaldo went to Juve, all of a sudden it was Juve, Barca in the same group, and then this season everyone's like, okay, uh, PSG and City are definitely favorites to win it.
Yeah.
They happen to be in the same group, so that's definitely interesting. But yeah,
Do you think
man.
we'll see another Messi Ronaldo game in this year's Champions League?
Yeah, it could be. It could be another one, maybe a round of 16 or something.
Yeah. Who
It
knows?
could be.
Maybe Marcus Rashford will end up being the star of that game again.
Exactly. Well, that would be his third time. That would be his
Yeah.
third.
Yeah.
It seems like Loki. I think Rashford wants to move to Paris or something, man. The fact that
Yeah.
he loves that city.
He does, man. I don't blame him. Even if you didn't, own the team, basically,
Yeah,
Paris is
exactly.
great.
Oh, geez, man. But honestly, the Champions League is looking really nice this season.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of good games so far. But yeah, man, let's get to, the main topic of today. I don't know if to say this is crisis mode. But right now, we started off the season with Manchester United all optimistic, excited. CR7 back. We finally got Jadon Sancho. We got Champions League Varane, which might be turned into Europa League Varane. I don't know yet. But so tell me, man, what was your take? Obviously, I haven't really spoken to you much since the announcement of Ronaldo, and obviously he's played a couple of games.
Yeah.
So just tell me, man, what was your take on Ronaldo's return to United, and how do you feel his return is impacting the team so far?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I still can't believe we signed him. It's one of those things where it's like for years and years, every single transfer window we get linked with Ronaldo. Like the papers will link us with Ronaldo, sensational, 150 million pound return or whatever it is. Like every summer, and like we all know that it wasn't going to happen, and getting tired of the rumors. And then this season, it finally happened, and it's honestly almost like a piece of my childhood has returned, like I can get out all my old Ronaldo football shirts and everything and whatever. Like I that's more how I think of it as opposed to the actual sports side of it. Like for me, it's a very nostalgic thing where I'm just kind of like, bar some names in the team, it feels like we're almost seeing the Manchester United of the Fergie days when he was there. And again, bar some names and some, not necessarily talking about recent results or whatever,
which we'll get into in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, like honestly, I think it's like genuinely brought a really good buzz around the club, and you can already see Ronaldo has an impact on everything wherever he goes. It's like I'm sure you saw that story about all the players not wanting to eat dessert.
Yeah, and at the canteen.
Like so, and I felt the Jesse Lingard goal that he scored against West Ham.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but like I feel like he's been spending a lot of time with Ronaldo recently. Like I don't know if you remember, like because that's one thing that he's done throughout his career. Whenever he has a bad performance or there's criticism around for some reason.
Yeah.
The very next game he'll come and shut everyone up, and it's like for Jesse Lingard to come and do that, I feel like that already, like stuff like that in itself is indicative of the impact that he's having on the club as well. So like there's definitely a good feeling to have him back as a fan.
No, it definitely was, man. Like when the whole saga thing with him going to Man City, I was like, what is going on here? What is going on here? And then it was like within 24 hours, it was Ronaldo signs for United. It's like, what? This happened again? I remember like this season, it's weird. This season has kind of brought two amazing okay, so let me put it this way. The first game of the season, I was so hyped, right? Because you look at who came in, Sancho. Officially a Manchester United player. You want to see him next to the likes of Pogba, Bruno. That whole excitement and that buzz, and then obviously Champions League Varane showed up. You know what I mean? And there was just that uplift, and that finally we are a team. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then Ronaldo's debut as well. It was like that the night before Christmas. Yeah. You just can't. You're all excited. You're just like, I'm going to bed early today, so I don't have to miss it. I'm not drinking the night before, so I don't forget to, what I mean? So I don't sleep through the game. You're just so hyped for that game. You know what I mean? And to be fair, his debut the performance wasn't the greatest, but the game was just the fans, like the stadium was electric. Like I wasn't there, but it felt like I was there. Like it just felt so electric in the stadium, like crazy. Like you said, man, it kind of reminded me of back in the day, CR7. And I think this is the closest we've been to that team of the team that won the Champions League in 2008.
Yeah.
I think this is the closest we've been that, in terms of strength and depth. That's for sure. I'm definitely liking that, man. Yeah, so let's get into it, man. Like obviously we've talked about it as fans. You know my opinion on Ole. I know every time we come through we have to talk about Ole because that's just what else is there to talk about.
I was waiting for it.
What else is there to talk about Manchester United if not for Ole,
Yeah. Go on, Josh. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts.
Because we sat here last season, everyone said, "Oh, we just need Sancho, the best right midfielder in the world. We just need Sancho, and all our problems will be solved. Oh, we just need Varane so that the McFred pivot, so we could be done with the McFred pivot." Now we're 5 games in to the season. There's to the McFred pivot, 3 losses, and it just feels like our performances have actually gone worse. Do you think this could be Ronaldo effect, whereby maybe the team is so heavily focused on trying to give the ball to Ronaldo? Because I feel that's the kind of same thing that happened with some fans might crucify me on this. I feel the same impact happened with Bruno, whereby Bruno came in, he became the focal point, and then everybody else's game kind of dried up. And now it's looking like Ronaldo has come in, has become that focal point of just lob the ball to Ronaldo and hope for the best. Yeah. And I'm beginning to see that everyone around's performances is kind of getting stale, man. Like you look at Greenwood, this guy's snatching at everything he can get. It's wild. Like, I don't know where we go from here. I honestly don't know where we go from here, man. Because it's like, it feels like we have all the players that we had asked for, bar CDM. Yeah, and we're still with the same team as last season.
Yeah. I mean,
Is it too early to panic? I don't know. Is it too early to panic?
Yes, I think it is too early to panic. I think, I think a lot of the players, we can't forget, they were at the Euros. So, they may not have had that like full preseason to gel and whatnot, and might still be getting back into like, regular season fitness, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to think of all the possible things it could be, because like, I'm not thrilled about the situation either. Okay. You don't sign those 3 players and be losing to Young Boys and Aston Villa. Okay. That's just not a thing. Okay. But, but I will say that, like, it is still early in the season. And in regards to your, like, trying to play through Ronaldo all the time. I feel like he kind of got this when he was at Juventus.
Yeah.
When he was at Juventus, or when he left, sorry, now, and Juventus are doing not great, which, just as a side note, is hilarious to me because I can't stand Juve.
Yeah. I think he saw Juve was a sinking ship, and that's why he wanted out as fast as he could.
Yeah. But that's the thing as well, like, because now a lot of people, or a lot of Juve fans I know, they all say like, oh yeah, Ronaldo was the problem at Juve, and that clearly wasn't the case. And so I don't want this to be like, the same thing at Manchester United, where it's like, oh, wherever Ronaldo goes, like, let's face it, the man is box office. If he's putting up the numbers, then you have to give him the ball.
Yeah.
Right? And it was the same with Bruno last season. But for me, I think what Solskjaer has to get right this season is more the balance of superstars and how to get the best out of everyone, because let's face it, the last few seasons, we've been heavily relying on 2 or 3 players, whether it's Bruno or Pogba, or when Pogba's played, or Rashford, De Gea every once in a while when he's on his game, so like, now we have a team where, with the exception of, the McFred pivot, we're fairly balanced. We have enough superstars. I don't even think that the McTominay and Fred are an excuse for us to not win silverware this season.
Yeah.
So, I think it's too early to panic, but I think this season there's no excuse for us to not win something. Whether it is the Carabao, well, sorry, not the Carabao Cup. No, I meant the FA Cup.
I forgot that we already crashed out of that.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. Carabao Cup, okay. I don't think anyone spent. I don't think Man United spent all that money just to win the Carabao Cup. So, like, I can somewhat make my peace with that. But whether it's the FA Cup or the Premier League, which I think we should be challenging for at the very least. Or the Champions League. I'm not playing this Europa League bullshit, okay? I'm not doing that this season. Premier League, Champions League, and FA Cup, we should win at least one of those trophies.
Yeah. In
my opinion. Otherwise, then it is really time to, like, talk about whether Solskjaer is the right man. Because we've low-key assembled a squad of a fearsome squad, I think. So there's no excuse at this point.
Yeah. And I think my fear would I think I've said it before to you, right? My thing with Ole, it just feels like, when you're watching TV and it's like a movie that you sort of feel like you've watched before, and it's like, this movie looks familiar, and then you're like, oh yeah, I've watched this before. That's what it's beginning to feel like this season. I started out positive. I said to myself, I'm going to be as fair as possible. I'm not going to be jumping the gun of Ole out. And, so I was positive. The Leeds game was good.
Yeah.
Then we played Southampton. Southampton played us out the park, even though they lost Danny Ings. And who else did they lose this season? They played us out the park. We were lucky to get that draw. Then we faced Wolves, played us out the park with a new coach. Wolves had a new coach. They've lost a couple of players as well. Played us out the park. I think Wolves has been one of those teams that has been unlucky with the results that they've been getting. Once again, individual brilliance saved us out of that game. You know what I mean? Then we went to was it Young? No, went to West Ham. I believe, yeah, it was West Ham. We went to Young Boys. Yeah,
there was definitely a game in between the West Ham game.
Yeah, we went to Young Boys. Yes, we were down 10 men, but come on. My issue was everyone keeps saying, "Oh, we're down to 10 men. We're down to 10 men." First of all, with that squad that we have, 10 men should not be a problem against Young Boys. You know what I mean? I don't want to just be disrespectful. People were calling them Swiss cheese, Swiss chocolate. They played a good game. They were very organized tactfully. They played a really good game, and they smelled blood because what did Ole do? It was what, the 20th minute in the game. Ole went so defensive. He did not even give us a chance.
Yeah,
he literally just went defensive. And I'm looking at it, and I know we can beat this drum all we want, but there is so many examples. Like, you watch the Chelsea Liverpool game. Chelsea goes down to 10 men. Does Chelsea just go that defensive? No, they don't. Because even though you're down to 10 men, you can still have a structure that will allow to make it difficult for the other team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in a game like that, where you have 10 men, you take off the wrong players. The players, now you're down to 10 men. So now, as a team, you need to retain the ball a lot longer. You need to have more possession. You need to move the ball around. And what does he do? He takes Sancho off, that can give us a little bit of legs up front. And he takes Beak off, that could help facilitate the ball, move the ball around. You know what I mean? And it's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's like, it just feels like Ole's football knowledge is like preschool. It's very like, no, and it's no disrespect to nobody. It's just like, how can I know people can call me the arm wheel, the arm wheel, what's it called? The wheelchair coach, whatever it is. But I think I've watched enough football in my lifetime that I can see when things are not working out. You know what I mean? I can say, why not try this? Why not try that? And for me, how fast he just went defensive. What did he bring in? He brought Varane, Lindelof, and was it Matic or no, Dalot? And those were his first three subs within like how many minutes of that red card. Yeah. And then he now brought on Matic. I'm like, what is this guy doing, man? Like, what are you doing? He just like plays so defensive, so quick. We lose that game. And everyone blames Lingard. But the fact is, this is the problem I have with Ole, is players make the mistakes. But a lot of times, if Ole has set the team up the right way, we wouldn't have been worrying about Lingard making a bad pass to the goalie in the last minute of the game.
Fair.
People don't think about that.
I will say, in defense of nobody, I guess, isn't defending Solskjaer. I will say that however much money Jesse Lingard makes a week, he should know better than to make a pass like that at that point in the game. Okay? Like, I 100%, everyone makes mistakes and stuff. Like, I get that. And, like, I'm not going to be one of those people that, like, comments on his Instagram and says mean things and all that shit. But, like, that was just a stupid pass. That's
don't get me wrong, it was a stupid pass. But that happens to a lot of people. You know what I mean? A lot of people have done that. And I think, and I get that. It was a stupid pass. But I think my issue with this whole situation with Ole is,
it could have been avoided, like, from the beginning.
And I get it. And then it's this little things that everyone overshadows. Like, everyone uses these little excuses to overshadow the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why was no one talking about the tactical changes about Ole? Why did you go so defensive? He comes out and talks about the United way. We lose to Young Boys. What does Ole do? We lose to Young Boys. Then in the League Cup, we crash out of the League Cup. And what does Ole do? reverts back to McFry pivot. And I can guarantee you that pivot is going to be here till Ole leaves now because he's scared. So this is my issue, right? That West Ham game in the Carabao Cup, I'll be honest with you, that was probably our best performance. And people might think that I'm saying some crazy stuff. That's probably been our best performance as a team in a very long time.
I don't know about that.
No. Because people think that performance is just about scoring goals. That's not all it's about. That was the first time that we actually progressed the ball from our defense to the midfield. Yes, we were very poor on the final third. Because Martial is lacking confidence. Jesse Lingard, I don't know what Lingard was doing there. He was kind of stingy in that game, just kept taking shots from outside the box. But overall, our midfield actually looked like a midfield. Yes, was it the greatest? No, it wasn't the greatest because these players barely get any playing time. But from a footballing standpoint, I think we did a bit better than the first 11. We did a bit better than our first 11. I think people are so quick to forget how crap we are. Our first 11 when we play. Like it's basically Maguire lobs the ball over to Bruno. Bruno, pings the ball to the box and hopes that somebody gets up behind it. That's literally is like ping pong. That's how we play it. So for me, because sometimes when you look at football, right, sometimes you have to watch it from not just about the goals. The goals are very important, but you have to look more into the details, the intricacies of how is this player moving, how they're receiving the ball, how is the progression. It's not just about just counterattacking all the time, right? So for me, that's what I felt. I enjoyed that. And I think it was also a breath of fresh air just to see different players play. You know what I mean? Not just the same starting 11 week in, week out. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's nice to kind of see other players come into the mix and play, and play their game. What was I getting to on this? The performance on the weekend in West Ham, that was shambolic. Like I think we only had one shot. We only had one chance created, one big chance created, and that was the penalty. In the whole 90 minutes. So for me, it's like I'm looking at all these things. It's already been the first 5 games of the season, and I'm getting nervous because I'm like, the games are only going to get harder.
Yeah,
the games are only going to get harder. It still looks like Ole is not willing to rotate. It's still looking like he's not willing to rotate. I forget. I think it was Craig Burnley said that on ESPN. He's like, how do you have Sancho on the bench?
Yeah.
How do you have? Yes, Martial has been cold for a while, but Martial's on the bench. All these Cavani, all these guys are on the bench. Like, and you can't make a change. You can't make a tactical change at all for 90 minutes. Then you bring Cavani on in the first 5 minutes to hopefully lob the ball up and hopefully he gets in the header. So for me, this is where I'm just a bit worried with Ole. So here's another point. What's your thought on Sancho? Like, what's your thought on Sancho? This was supposed to be the best right winger in the world. Now he's on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, give him time. Lost. I mean, he needs time. Like the thing is, people seem to forget that like he's coming. Let's face it, the German league and the English league. I'm not gonna speak on the quality of each league, but they're different. Okay, they're very, very different from each other. And, in terms of pace, maybe physicality a bit, he has to get used to that, first of all, in the Premier League, maybe get a bit stronger himself and stuff like that. So, like, I think it's just a thing of, like, him adapting to the league, Like, I don't think he got a whole lot of playing time when he was at Man City. Otherwise, he wouldn't have left.
Yeah.
So, with regard to him being on the bench, I don't think this is going to be another, Van der Beek situation.
It definitely cannot be because of the money that was spent.
Exactly.
That would be
exactly
criminal.
Like, exactly. So like, but that's what I'm getting at. Like Sancho has to play and he will play and he'll adapt and he'll get better. So like for me, that one is just a matter of time. Like, did I think he was going to come into the side and be a superstar immediately? I mean, I hoped he would, but odds are probably not. I don't think there's maybe a handful of players that really do that. But did I expect him to be on the bench at this point? Also, no. But that surprises me less than if he had just come into the side and just performed immediately. That would have been a surprise, because then I would have been like, okay, well, towards the middle of the season or towards, whatever, at some point, he's going to start to decline. So I'd rather even just get it out of the way now, let him adapt and have his time where there is still an excuse, instead of, imagine if he performed and then dropped off, and then and then you can't even have the excuse of like, oh, he has to adapt. Then it becomes, oh, he's shit. And, that affects his confidence even more.
Yeah.
So, I think with Sancho, he has to adapt, and, he's not going to do that without game time. Maybe the bench, obviously the bench isn't an ideal place for him, but he's at a club now where we have options, and his 73 million price tag only actually means something to people outside of the club.
Yeah.
So, maybe him being on the bench is a good thing mentally, one of those tough love situations. Like same for Martial, like I'm really rooting for Martial, because like, people have seen glimpses of his talent, like you've seen glimpses of his talent in the past. And if he can get back to that level, now that he's, entering his prime years, there's no reason Man United should sell him. There's no reason he shouldn't be in this team for a long time, So I'm really rooting for Martial. I really hope he comes back and has a really good season this year.
Yeah.
And Sancho, I don't think that's even a question. Like, he's got so much time ahead of him and so much talent that it's like, it's just a matter of when, not if.
Not if. Yeah. But that's the thing, right? And I think also Sancho, and this is what I keep going back to the performances, right? It's been 3 seasons and I still don't know what we're trying to do. I think finally, I was watching Rio 5 today, and Rio was talking about it. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Rio 5.
No.
Oh, it's with the Arsenal guy. I forget his name now. So it's like Rio, Steven from the Strat Pack. Geez, I forget sorry, I'm really butchering the channel right now. But this guy named Steve's a United fan, and then an Arsenal fan, and they always banter each other, right? Especially as an Arsenal fan, he gets bantered a lot. And you look at the United fan, he's really trying to claw at everything to protect Ole. And then you have the Arsenal fan is saying that, and it's fun because he said that last week too in the last recording. He's like, I just don't see what Ole is trying to do. Like, he's like, I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be mean on Ole. It's just the football is just like, it's just like freestyle. It's just go out there and just do the best. It's like the players are trying to figure it out on the field. And I think Rio, for the first time today, said it. And he's like, he obviously, Rio's going to be, very diplomatic about it, because Ole he still has to see Ole on Monday morning. You know what I mean? So he was more like, when you watch other teams, you see repetition of plays that you can tell this was from the training ground. He said even for him,
see like a manager's signature, essentially. Yeah.
But he feels like it's becoming more and more vivid, that it's like there really isn't much. It's kind of, I believe you guys are top players. Show me that you're a top player, which is like, that's great for only long, but you're going to get to a point, the likes of your Newcastles and your Wolves and your Southamptons, yes, you can bypass it with great players. But when it comes to like a night like tonight, the Champions League night, that's a game that you cannot be saying, oh, I'm going to rely on my best players, because the other team you're playing has equally as good players too. So that's where the difference lies, right? And this is where I'm saying, people keep talking about give Ole to the season. It's like, I think this is where we're coming to is, where do we go from here as a club? Because I think we're in a very crucial time. Ronaldo has 1 more year on his contract, right? Ronaldo did not come here to win nothing. to follow the last hurdle. Bruno is stalling on his contract right now. Bruno has voiced his interest in Pogba signing a contract for him to stay. Pogba still hasn't signed a new contract yet because Pogba is looking and saying, you know what, I don't want to keep the story of rebuilding. Martial was unhappy on the bench. There's links with him to Dortmund. We know Van de Beek is definitely not getting an opportunity as long as Ole is coach. Jesse Lingard might be leaving as well too, because I think he's too good to be on the bench. He should be starting. Yes, maybe people might argue that he's not good enough for Manchester United. I disagree with that. Maybe he might not be necessarily first team every week, but I think he deserves to have. To me, he's like a Ji-Sung Park, or you remember those players that for Manchester United that yes, they were not our starting 11, but they played enough games to be happy, and to feel like they were part of a team. Who else do I have? Sancho is looking ridiculously lost right now because you picked him up from a club with a system, with a coaching system. It was organized to this, where it's basically nobody knows what they're doing. And he likes players that can link off, like he can link off with, and he can't even do that. The best game of Sancho we saw was, once again, the Carabao Cup with West Ham. I don't know if you remember what you saw him and Martial, Lingard doing that flicks and the one touch. That's Sancho's game. But when you're having him with, I don't want to call names, I'm not bashing anybody, but when you have people who just want to shoot all the time, that's why he's looking so lost, right? Yeah. So it feels like we have the players, but the starting 11 that Ole keeps picking is so unbalanced. It's literally so unbalanced. There's no flair to it. It's just like, it's like his favorites that he feels like he can trust, and his week in, week out, even if they have a poor performance, a bad performance, he plays them, So you look at that. So now that's how many players that I've named. That's 7 players that have named that could be gone after the season.
Yeah.
And now we're going to start talking about rebuilding again under a new manager. So this is where I'm trying to figure out, where do we go from here now? Do we wait till the end of the season? Or do we say, okay, let's see till Christmas. If Ole can get this team moving, then he goes. Like, I don't know. Where do we go from here? Because I think United fans right now are very short-minded right now. I'm thinking long-term. Yes, we're all gassed. We have all these players, but we can lose all these players overnight as well if we don't get a proper coach that can get this wheel going now. Like, where do we go from here?
So who would you bring in? Considering who is available, or let's say any manager, maybe they're not available, but like could be attracted by the Man United brand and getting to coach Ronaldo or whatever, who would you bring in instead of Solskjaer?
The simple answer is, I think anyone right now would be better than will be better than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, man. Like, I'm being legit. I don't think I've seen, in my time of watching football, I don't think I've seen a more disjointed manager in my life. In my life. Like, I maybe I'm over exaggerating it, but I honestly cannot. Like,
would you take Mourinho back over?
No, I wouldn't take Mourinho back. You know what I mean? Like, why would you go back to your past? You know what I mean? There is a couple. Like, the thing is, okay, I wouldn't mind taking Conte, even though I don't like his style, but we just need to see some type of change, right? I think we're just desperate for change right now. That's like how we were desperate for change under Mourinho.
Yeah,
Ole has come and brought in change. It's been good vibes. He has. I've always said it. I'll put my chest out there. He's done a great job. He's brought that spirit back. The players that have come into the team, great job. But I think now we're ready for that next step, and that next step could be Conte, even if it's for 2 years. And I think this is part of the problem with United fans is we're still hung on this Alex Ferguson, the United DNA. We're not Chelsea that changes their manager every 2 seasons. We want to have, sustainability. All these buzzwords that mean absolutely nothing if you're not winning trophies. I
Yeah.
mean, absolutely nothing if you're not winning trophies. So for me, I don't care if we bring a manager in every 2 seasons, every 3 seasons, as long as we're winning something, we're playing decent football. I didn't say good football, I said decent football.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm trying to say. So for me, that's what Zidane, I still have my reservations on Zidane. But if he can lead that team, that Real Madrid team to 3 Champions League finals and win them all and come back again with how many injuries did he have last season and he still won the league? I think I can give him a try. And he's also Pogba, he's Pogba's idol. He played with Ronaldo. I mean, he coached Ronaldo. He coached Varane. Those are 3 players. And I'm sure the other players will respect him as well because he's Zizou, right? Ten Hag from Ajax could be a good one. I'm a little nervous because I don't know about all the egos. The only reservations I have with him is the egos. Now he's going from an academy, basically. I look at Ajax as an academy team,
I know
to superstar. So I'm a little nervous on that, but I still believe that he can bring some type of structure to the way we play. That will, because I look at United, right? Like in the last couple of seasons, we finished third and second.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really call it progress. People are calling it progress. It's kind of progress, but I don't really see it as progress because I think what happened is because we haven't collected more points than under Mourinho. We haven't scored more goals than under Mourinho. The only thing that I can see that's changed was our rivals dropped for a bit. Liverpool had so many injuries before. City had a very slow start. Frank Lampard was just a disaster last season for Chelsea. So Tuchel came in pretty late. And even with that, Liverpool finished 4 points behind us after all those injuries. They still finished 4 points behind us. Chelsea finished what, third with like 3 points. Like if we had 2 more games in the season, Chelsea could have finished second. So when we actually break it down with context, have we really progressed? From a PR standpoint, yes. From a good feel standpoint, but the football hasn't really progressed, and the results haven't progressed as much. So, my
I can't
point
argue with that. To be fair.
Sorry,
I can't argue with that. To be fair,
you can or can't.
I can't.
Yeah. So my point with the position thing is nothing. I'll give Ole. Nothing that Ole wasn't a part of that, but we have good enough players to take us so far. And I think the way the seasons have worked out with COVID and everything, the players, how many nights in Fulham did we see last minute clutching of Bruno or Pogba or Marcus Rashford? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it was nothing tactical about Ole. It was just somebody put their head up, crossed a 50-yard ball, and somebody got behind it. Or Bruno took a swing and the ball went in the back of the net. You know what I mean? There was nothing tactical about the goals that we're scoring. So for me, that's what I'm saying. We don't even need a masterclass coach. We just need a decent coach that actually has a game plan. So that's why I'm not. People are saying, "Oh, we're gonna get." We don't need to get a superstar coach. We just need somebody that is organized, that has a system and has a philosophy. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Because we have the players. We just need the. It's like you have in the car, but you don't have your driver's license.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? That's what it feels like we are right now. We're like that teenage kid that has the car, but they don't have the driver's license to drive the car. So, but that's kind of like that's my thing with Ole is I just don't want us to crash and burn again because my heart has been broken enough times. My heart has been broken enough times, man. But yeah, did you have anything to add before we? I know because of time. I know we're rushing because of time here.
Yeah, I mean, I for me personally, I would say at the end of the season, I think judge him at the end of the season. I think one thing he has done very, very well, which has been missing from previous managers, is he's brought the culture back to Manchester United, or like some kind of an identity. Maybe, not necessarily on the football pitch, if depending on what your opinion is, but he has brought like a culture that, didn't exist with previous managers because they weren't affiliated with the club like that, So I think he's done that very well. I think that is also one reason why he hasn't lost his job yet. But I will say I think that's one reason why he hasn't lost his job yet, because people really do buy into that stuff. But I will also say, and I know this is the old, cliche, I think the long-term model, as much as it sucks in the beginning, I think the long-term model is and always will be the tried and tested, better version, best, version for success, or at least sustained success. Because you never know what you're going to get when you keep chopping and changing managers all the time. And it may work for some clubs. It clearly does work for Chelsea or your Real Madrids or whatever. But I mean, if you the example that we have staring us in the face is Alex Ferguson himself.
Yeah,
I forget how long it was until he won his first trophy for Man United, but like there was, constantly talks of like, Fergie's going to get sacked if he doesn't win this game, or if he doesn't win his next games, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And in the end, however many years later, imagine if he had been sacked, where would Man United, what would the Man United brand look like? Because let's face it, the reason Man United is what it is today is because of Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
So now, don't get me wrong. If Solskjaer achieves half of what Fergie did, if he gets the timing that he wants and he achieves half of what Fergie did, I'll still be happy.
Oh, for sure, I would be happy too.
Yeah, but like I'm more for the long-term approach. However, I will also say that like you've made some very good points that I don't know what his style is, or like when even with a coach like Mourinho, you know that he's going to adapt his tactics depending on who he's going to play against. So every performance may not look the same, but it will even still have like traces of Mourinho's signature, or Guardiola. He's going to pass the ball 100 million times until he tires you out and then score 5 goals against you, or whatever. Like those managers do have a style, and that is something that I can't argue that I haven't really seen from Solskjaer. In terms of progress,
it's all based on progress. It looks at
it
depends on how you see it. Is it the glass half full or half empty?
Like for me, I was looking at it the way other people were looking at it. Like, we're climbing the table, we're doing this, and then you said what you said, and I'm just like, well, I really can't argue with that. Like, especially when you say like we haven't even had like a higher points total than when we did with Mourinho. That for me is like shocking. I won't say shocking, but like when you're talking in terms of progress, you want to close that gap, right? Not just because your rivals aren't at the level they were the year before. So, maybe we're getting a bit of good fortune off of other people's bad fortune. But I would say, I think till the end of the season, or unless there is some monumental collapse where, by Christmas or whatever stage, we're out of the running of every tournament and the league. And, then I think I would say, all right, you have a team full of superstars. You have pretty much a blank check, or as close to it as you're going to get without being at a PSG or Manchester City.
Yeah.
So, maybe maybe this isn't the job for you. You know, maybe you need like a Tottenham or something, work your way up to this job and then get it again when you're more experienced as a coach. But yeah, I would say give him to the end of the season. I'm a huge proponent of the long-term approach.
The long-term approach.
Yeah.
And I do respect that, right? For me, I'm also for the long-term approach, but I gotta see, because you know how they always people always compare him to Klopp. Oh, look at what Klopp did. But the difference is you were seeing the performances, right? Like it was, finishing 90 points, 1 point behind City, the Champions League finals, and then there was something that could give me something to believe in.
Yeah.
And with this, it's just like I can't really see anything I just can't see it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be as positive as I can, but I just can't see where we go from here with him in charge, right? And now it's becoming to the point whereby every team in the league now wants to play United. I was actually watching this fan channel, and an Aston Villa fan commented we're actually not even scared to play. We're actually looking forward to playing United. And look at what happened. We lost to them. They bossed us. They just destroyed us in that game.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is Aston Villa. These without Jack Grealish. You know what I mean? Like, these are teams now, West Ham, all these teams are now coming to United with the belief that they can beat us with that squad that we have. And to me, that says a lot. That says a lot. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at our next, you talked about if something monumental or catastrophic happens. I'm looking at our next 5 fixtures. So we have Villarreal tomorrow, who we lost to in the Europa League finals.
Yeah.
Then we have Everton on Saturday. Then we play Leicester City. Then we play at Atalanta in the Champions League. Then we play Liverpool. We play Tottenham. Well, Tottenham, they're not doing so well, so maybe we could definitely nick in a point in there. Then we play Atalanta again, then Man City. So between now and November 6th, it's going to be hard. Like, our fixtures are looking very interesting. And at the way we're playing right now, I honestly don't see us beating those teams. But we know Ole is like a cat. He's got 9 lives. He's going to find a way to stay in the job. So whether it means drawing games, he's going to find a way to do it. So that's where I'm looking at our fixtures. From the last 5 performances, there's nothing telling me, there's no confidence in our performances in the last 5 games saying that we're going to repeat that, like we're going to do something better in the next 5.
Yeah.
So that's when I'm kind of worried, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
we could be playing Europa League by December, man.
Yo, Ronaldo doesn't play Europa League.
Yo, everybody's already saying that Ole is going to be the first manager to make Ronaldo play Europa League. He's already made the likes of Pogba play Europa League, man. So it's only a matter of time.
Mourinho did too. Mourinho did too, to be fair, but he at least won it.
Sorry?
Mourinho did too, to be fair, but he at least won it. So
yeah, at least he won something. Yeah, he did win it. So I know, man, it's definitely going to be very interesting. But yeah, I think, So what are your predictions? Obviously, it's still very early in the season. Just based on the games that you've watched, what teams stand out to you, like in terms of title challengers so far?
Chelsea, I think Chelsea are going to be a problem. Obviously Manchester City. This is the first league in a while where, I feel like by Christmas you're still not going to know who the winner is. Past seasons, it's like, okay, Man City is starting to pull away, or Liverpool is starting to pull away, or whoever it is, they're starting to pull away, and then 10 games before the end of the season, they're 20 points clear, or however many, and it's like, all right, like I'm not even gonna, like, why am I even watching the last games?
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a different season than it has been. I think it's more evenly balanced, and there's going to be like a top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
As of right now, I think it's difficult to say where Man United will fit in that. But I'm gonna go I'm still gonna have hope and say I don't think they finished lower than 3rd.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be optimistic and say 2nd place. I'm gonna be optimistic.
Yeah. Okay. I do agree with you. I don't think we're going to finish and I've always said that, right? Because of the quality of players that we have a strong enough squad that we're going to nick in those results at Fulham and, Southampton. So that's going to get us to that top 4. I agree with you. I think Chelsea is definitely going to be strong. Like they're like the most complete team right now, I think. City looks like they're going to be City as always. They start off slow every season. I think it's going to be the battle between City and Chelsea. I don't know who is going to win it, but it's definitely going to be the battle between those two. I definitely see Liverpool. Liverpool is going under the radar right now.
They are.
Right now, I know they've had 2 recent injuries, so I think if Liverpool doesn't have as bad of an injury record as they had last season, they'll be good. I think they'll be right in the mix. Like I said, United will be there just because of the players that we have. There's just no way that we're going to be losing that many games, right? To not be there. We'll probably draw a lot of games, which is going to piss everybody off and, keep us away from the title race. But I think we'll do just enough to sit in top 4.
Yeah.
And this is my worry. And this is my worry as a fan is, as a club like Manchester United is top 4 now. Is that the bar? Is that the ceiling now? Top 4? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And do we just want to be top 4 and we were there top 4, we made Champions League and let's do it all over again. And this is my fear as a fan, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It is a real fear, I guess.
Yeah. But Charles, man, it's definitely been fun. I know we've got stuff to do for 7, so it's definitely been fun, and hopefully we can do this again. I just definitely wanted to talk about Manchester United. I was like, I need to get Charles on to get his perspective. Because, like I said, it might be crisis mode, but I might be over exaggerating it. I don't know.
Only time will tell. I'm out here saying let's not panic just yet, but you could be seeing something where halfway through the season you're like, I told you so. I told you so. So we'll see, I guess.
Oh man, I think I already said I told you so in the the Europa League finals, man. It was funny. I think I wrote that script, and it happened the exact same way. I said. I was actually with Emily watching the game, and I said, "Just watch. He's not going to make a sub."
Yeah.
Till like the 100th minute, and exactly what happened. You know? I don't know, man. Just one last point. Like, at this point, do you feel like Van de Beek should just leave the club at this point, or do you feel that there is still a chance for him to have a future at Manchester United? I don't know at this point.
I think for the good of his career, if we're thinking selfishly about Van de Beek, then he needs to at least consider moving. All of this, it's been tough, but I trust Solskjaer. Like, he's missing out on a lot of, he's in a very, a pivotal phase in his career where it's like he's relying on that development to then take him into his prime. But that development doesn't only come from training, and watching play. It comes from actually playing. So, he's not when I say development, obviously I don't mean a 18-year-old player.
No, like an actual development, understanding the game is one
exactly.
thing. They have to actually have understand the game.
Yeah, like, and he's still very young. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm older than this dude. So
Yeah,
he's still pretty young, and he needs to be. And he's a good player, so he needs to be getting games. That's how he's going to get better, and that's how he's going to become the player that he
should become, like the potential.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So if he's not getting that at Man United, then he does need to consider moving, or at the very least, maybe requesting a loan in January. Like, not getting the games here, then let me at least go and get some experience, because I still do want to play for this club in the future.
Yeah.
That would, I think, be the best thing for all parties, is for him to get a loan to, I don't know what club, maybe like Dortmund or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't want him to go to another EPL club. I think he should be playing Champions League football.
Yeah.
He deserves to be. Like, I was watching Ajax today as well. I watched like the highlights, and it's like they could have still been on this team.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably would have beaten us in the Champions League anyways on the Ole. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this kid could have been playing on this team, but he's at Manchester United, can barely get any game time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I agree with you. I think he needs to at least go on loan, because I think of when the United fans that are so, I don't know what, obsessed with Ole are turning on Beak for no reason. Now, every time Beak is on the team sheet, it's like, oh, now he's got to perform now. If not, he's out. They're just trying to find ways to prove that Ole is right for not playing him. And it's like, and it's just getting very sad to see that now, whereby it's like, this kid has barely gone into game time. And now even when he starts, you're putting so much pressure on him just to prove the manager right, and it's just very sad that that's what the club has become. Some guy twittered the last game, the Carabao Cup game, where he said, okay, for all of you who said Ole does not rotate, this team better perform. If not, they should not be at this club. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? These guys have not played a minute in the season, and this is how you're seeing the game. Like, you think football is just an 11-man squad now? It's like, I don't know, man. United fans need some, I don't know what it is, but they're some United fans, not all. Football IQ is on the ground. Football IQ is just, it needs help. Reasoning needs help. Everything just needs help, man. But like I said, I don't want to keep you too long. But yeah, it's definitely been fun, man. I really appreciate you coming on the channel. And we'll definitely be back. I think tomorrow's game, the Champions League against Villarreal, is going to be very crucial for Ole. Because if we lose that game or we draw it, it's going to be tough. Because that is a sign that we might be crashing out of the Champions League. Because I think Atalanta is a better team than Villarreal. So it's going to be very interesting to see how we show up for tomorrow. But yeah, man, it's definitely been fun. For those of you that were tuned in, I really appreciate it. Continue to like and share. And till next time. I'm going to be hopping on Flawless's channel, Sarcasm City, in about 10 minutes. So those of you that are watching, I appreciate it. Definitely tune into that as well. So yeah, Charles, till next time. Hopefully.
Thanks for having me.
I know, hopefully we get something.
Yes.